Vertical suicide.
Lie still. There's blood on your shirt. Checking for wounds. It's from your hand.
Think you're right. What took you so long?
Been looking for you all night, no?
As the final season of Outlander races toward its end, one chilling command cuts through the night at Fraser's Ridge like a blade. Send for the devil. In episode 5, the Frasers face a threat that no battle or time travel secret can prepare them for, and the choice they make now could end everything they love forever. The hills of North Carolina feel heavier than ever in the final season of Outlander as war tears the land apart and old fears come alive inside Fraser's Ridge. Jamie Fraser stands tall on his land, but his eyes show the weight of years of fighting. He has survived prison, battles, and the pain of losing those he loves. Yet this new darkness feels different. Whispers spread fast among the settlers. Strange things are happening. Cows stop giving milk for no reason. Men wake up screaming about black figures in their dreams. Crops that should grow strong start to rot overnight. Jamie tries to keep peace, but he knows something evil is close. He rides out alone at dawn, his horse moving quiet through the thick trees, and he feels eyes watching him from the shadows. His hand stays near his knife because he senses the devil's already here. Back at the big house, Claire works without rest in her small surgery room. She is the healer everyone turns to, using skills from a future time that most people here do not understand. Now a sickness is spreading fast. Young and old fall ill with high fevers that burn like fire. They see things that are not there and speak in voices that do not sound like their own. Claire mixes medicines from her books and her garden, but nothing stops the illness completely. The settlers start to talk behind her back. Some say her strange ways brought this curse. They remember old stories about witches and how Claire appeared from nowhere years ago. She feels their fear growing, and it hurts her deep inside because she only wants to help. She holds Jamie close at night and tells him her worries, but even her strong love for him cannot chase away the cold dread she feels. Their daughter Brianna and her husband Roger live nearby with their young son, and they feel the same pressure. Brianna knows history from her time in the future, and she fears what might come next for her family. Roger, with his deep faith, reads from his Bible and prays, but even he starts to wonder if this sickness is more than just a disease. The family sits together by the fire one evening and talks in low voices. They know they must stay united or the ridge will fall apart. Then a stranger rides in under the cover of darkness. He is tall with a black cloak and a face that stays hidden in shadow. His eyes look sharp and cold when he asks to speak only to Jamie. They meet alone in the barn where no one else can hear. The stranger speaks words that make Jamie freeze. He says a powerful man from Jamie's past is alive and wants revenge. This man knows secrets about Claire and her time travel. He knows about the gold and the plans for the war. The stranger leans close and whispers the command that changes everything. Send for the devil, he says with a shh that shows no warmth. He claims the devil is the only one who can stop the sickness in the coming attacks from British soldiers. Jamie demands proof, but the stranger only laughs softly and rides away into the night, leaving Jamie with more questions than answers. Jamie walks back to the house with heavy steps and tells Claire everything. She listens with wide eyes because the name the stranger gave is one she knows from old dangers. Could this be a trick or a real chance to save their home? They talk for hours as the fire burns low. Claire thinks about her doctor oath and how far she will go to protect the people here. Jamie thinks about his honor as a man and a leader. He has made hard choices before, but sending for the devil feels like opening a door that can never close again. Outside, the wind picks up and strange sounds carry through the trees like distant laughter. The settlers grow more scared when another person falls ill that same night. A woman screams that she sees the devil in her room, and the crowd gathers with torches ready to blame someone. Jamie steps forward to calm them, but his voice shakes a little for the first time. He knows if he does not act soon, the whole ridge could turn against his family. Brianna holds her son tight, and Roger stands ready to fight with his fists if needed. The love between Jamie and Claire burns bright in the middle of all this fear, but it also makes them weak because they know losing each other would be worse than any devil. As the moon rises high, the family makes a secret plan. They will watch the stranger if he returns, and Claire will study the sick people even closer to find the real cause of the illness. But deep down, they all feel the same heavy truth. The devil might already be walking among them, wearing a friendly face. Every step now feels like a step closer to the end, and the final season has only just begun to show its teeth. The night grows darker, and the call to send for the devil echoes louder in Jamie's mind. He looks at Claire's face in the candlelight and wonders if their love can survive what is coming next. The sickness spreads faster. More voices join the whispers. And somewhere out in the hills, a horse rides closer, bringing answers or death. The Frasers hold their breath because one wrong word could bring the devil right to their door, and there might be no way to send him away again. Tension fills every corner of the ridge as old friends start to look like strangers, and every shadow hides a possible threat. Jamie patrols the edges of the land with his men, but his thoughts stay with Claire and the children. He remembers the promise he made to her long ago to always protect her, no matter the cost. Now that promise feels heavier than any stone. Claire stays awake, mixing herbs and writing notes in her journal, trying to solve the puzzle of the illness before more people die. She thinks about her mother and the life she left behind, and wonders if time itself is punishing them for breaking its rules. Brianna and Roger talk quietly in their cabin about whether they should take their son and run, but they know running is not the Fraser way. The stranger's words keep repeating in their heads, and the fear grows stronger with every passing hour. The episode builds this wall of suspense brick by brick until the family stands on the edge of a decision that will shape the rest of the final season. Will they call on the devil to fight the sickness and the war, or will they trust only in themselves and risk losing it all? The answer is coming, and it will not be gentle. The air feels thick with danger, and the Frasers know that dawn might bring either salvation or the end of everything they built together. The morning light barely breaks through the heavy clouds hanging over Fraser's Ridge when the first scream tears the silence apart. A young boy, no more than 10 years old, runs from his family's cabin with wild eyes, shouting that the devil touched him in his sleep. His mother follows close behind, tears streaming down her face as she begs Jamie for help. The settlers gather quickly, their faces pale and angry. They look at Claire with suspicion that grows sharper every hour. One man steps forward and points a shaky finger at her. "She brings strange medicines from nowhere," he says loudly. "This sickness has started when she came back from her last journey. Maybe she is the devil we should fear." Jamie moves fast, placing his tall body between Claire and the crowd. His voice stays steady, but his blue eyes burn with quiet warning. "Any man who raises a hand against my wife will answer to me," he growls. The crowd steps back, but the fear does not leave their faces. Claire feels her heart pound hard inside her chest. She knows these people are scared, not evil, yet their words cut deep because she has given everything to heal them. She takes a deep breath and speaks in her calm healer voice. "I am trying to save your children, not harm them. Let me examine the boy." The mother nods through her tears, and Claire kneels beside the child. His skin burns hot, and his pupils look too wide, like black pools that swallow the light. He whispers words that make no sense. Something about red eyes watching from the trees. Claire's mind races back to her medical training in the future. This does not feel like any normal fever she has seen before. It feels wrong, almost planned. She gives the boy something to bring the fever down and promises the mother she will find the truth. As she stands, Jamie pulls her close for a moment and whispers in her ear, "We cannot wait much longer, Sassenach. The ridge is turning against us." They walk back to the big house together, hands tightly linked, but the weight of the stranger's words from the night before hangs between them like thick smoke. "Send for the devil." The phrase repeats in Jamie's head with every step. He has faced many monsters in his life, but calling on something dark feels like trading one evil for another. Claire sees the struggle in his face and squeezes his hand harder. "We fight with our minds first," she tells him softly. "I will keep looking for the real cause of this sickness." Inside the house, Brianna works beside her mother, grinding herbs and boiling water. Her hands shake a little because she remembers stories from history books about witch hunts and how quickly fear can turn neighbors into enemies. Roger stands by the window with his rifle ready, watching the path for any new visitors. Their young son plays quietly in the corner, too small to understand the danger, but old enough to feel the fear in the room. Suddenly, a rider appears on the path, moving fast. It is not the same stranger from last night. This man looks rough and tired, his clothes covered in dust from hard travel. He brings news that makes Jamie's blood run cold. British soldiers are moving closer than anyone expected. They have heard about the sickness at the ridge, and they plan to use it as an excuse to burn the settlement and take the land. The rider also carries a sealed letter addressed only to Jamie. When Jamie opens it in private, the words inside feel like a knife to the heart. The letter is from a man he thought was long dead, a powerful enemy from his past who once tried to destroy him and Claire. The enemy writes that he knows their secrets, including the truth about time travel and the gold hidden on the land. He says the sickness is only the beginning. If Jamie wants to save his family and his home, he must agree to one condition: send for the devil before the next full moon. The letter ends with a chilling promise: refuse and everyone you love will die screaming. Jamie folds the letter with steady hands, but his jaw is tight with rage. He shows it to Claire alone in their bedroom. She reads the words twice, her face going pale. "This cannot be real," she whispers. But deep down, she knows the danger is very real. They sit together on the edge of the same bed where they have shared so many nights of love and safety. Now it feels like the last safe place on earth. Claire's scientific mind fights against the fear, while Jamie's warrior heart wants to ride out and kill the threat with his bare hands. Yet both of them understand the trap they are in. If they ignore the warning, the soldiers will come and the sickness will keep spreading. If they follow the command and send for the devil, they risk inviting something far worse than any human enemy. Brianna knocks softly on the door and joins them. When she reads the letter, her eyes fill with the tears. "We came back through the stones for this?" she asks, her voice breaking. Roger stands behind her, his hand on her shoulder, trying to be strong for his family. The four of them talk late into the afternoon, voices low so the servants cannot hear. They weigh every choice like stones on a scale. Claire suggests testing the sick people more carefully for poison or bad water. Jamie thinks about gathering loyal men to defend the ridge. Brianna remembers details from future history that might help them predict the soldiers' next move. Roger offers prayers and reminds them that faith has carried them through dark times before. But every plan circles back to the same terrifying question: who or what is this devil they are being told to summon? As the sun begins to set, another cry rises from the edge of the settlement. An old woman has died in her sleep, her face frozen in terror with marks on her arms that look like burns from unseen flames. The settlers gather again, louder and angrier this time. Torches flicker in the growing dark and voices shout for answers. Jamie steps out to face them, Claire by his side, even though he wishes she would stay hidden. He raises his hands for quiet and speaks with the deep authority that has always commanded respect. "We will find the truth," he promises them, "but turning on each other will only make the devil stronger." His words calm some, but not all. One man spits on the ground and mutters that the Frasers are hiding something. The tension feels like a rope pulled so tight it could snap at any second. Back inside, Claire works through the night by candlelight, examining samples from the sick under her small microscope. She sees things that should not be there, tiny patterns that look almost deliberate. Her heart races as she realizes this sickness might not be natural at all. It could be a weapon designed to break the ridge from within. Jamie watches her from the doorway, love and worry mixing in his chest. He knows his wife is brilliant, but even her future knowledge might not be enough against an enemy who plays with devils. The night deepens and strange sounds drift through the windows again, like soft laughter mixed with distant drums. Brianna and Roger sit with their son, telling him stories to keep him calm while their own minds race with fear. Every shadow in the room seems to move on its own. The family feels watched, hunted, trapped in their own home. The stranger's command echoes louder now: "Send for the devil." Jamie stands at the window looking out at the dark hills and wonders how much he is willing to risk. His honor, his soul, or the lives of everyone he holds dear. Claire comes to stand beside him and rests her head on his shoulder. "Whatever we choose," she whispers, "we choose together." Their love shines like the only light left in the growing darkness. But even that light feels fragile tonight. The episode tightens its grip as the Frasers realize the devil might not need to be summoned. He could already be walking among them, wearing the face of a neighbor, a friend, or even a shadow from their own past. The sickness spreads to another cabin. More whispers turn to shouts. And somewhere in the hills, a new rider approaches, carrying the next piece of the deadly puzzle. The final season is no longer just a story of love and war. It has become a race against an evil that laughs at time itself, and the Frasers are running out of choices. Every breath feels heavier. Every glance between Jamie and Claire carries the fear that this might be one of their last quiet moments together. The devil is calling, and the ridge holds its breath, waiting for the answer that could save them or damn them forever. The air at Fraser's Ridge turns thick with dread as midnight approaches and the third night of fear begins. Jamie cannot sleep. He stands by the open window, pistol in hand, listening to every rustle in the trees. Claire lies in their bed pretending to rest, but her eyes stay wide open. She replays every symptom of the sick in her mind, searching for a clue that will explain the unnatural spread of the illness. Suddenly, a soft knock sounds at the door downstairs. Jamie moves like a shadow, gun raised, and opens it to find the first stranger again, the man in the black cloak with the cold smile. This time, he does not ask to speak alone. He steps inside without waiting and looks straight at Claire. The devil grows impatient, he says in a voice like dry leaves. You have until sunrise to decide. Send for him or watch your people burn. Jamie grabs the man by the collar and pushes him against the wall. Who are you working for? He demands. The stranger only laughs softly and repeats the enemy's name from the letter, the one Jamie hoped was buried in the past. Then he slips something small into Jamie's hand before pulling free and disappearing into the night. Jamie opens his palm and finds a silver coin with a strange mark burned into it, the same mark that once belonged to a secret society long ago. Claire takes the coin and turns it in the candlelight. Her face goes white. She remembers reading about this symbol in old books from her time, a sign used by those who dealt in dark bargains and forbidden knowledge. Jamie, this is real, she whispers. They are not playing games. The coin feels heavy with evil, as if it carries the weight of every bad choice ever made. They wake Brianna and Roger and gather in the kitchen where the fire still glows low. The four of them stare at the coin in silence. Brianna traces the mark with her finger and recalls fragments of history that speak of men who sold their souls for power during times of war. Roger crosses himself and murmurs a prayer, but even his faith feels tested tonight. Young Jemmy wakes and toddles into the room, rubbing his eyes. He points at the coin and says in his small voice, "Bad man." The words send ice down every spine. If a child can feel the darkness, how long before it touches them all? Outside, another cry rises from the settlement. A young mother has collapsed, her body shaking with fits that look like possession. The settlers drag her into the open, and some begin to shout that Claire must be stopped before she kills them all. Torches flare brighter, and the crowd moves closer to the big house. Jamie steps onto the porch with Claire beside him. He raises his voice above the noise. "Go back to your homes," he commands. "Harming my wife will not stop the sickness. It will only bring more death." His words carry the strength of a man who has led armies, yet fear makes the crowd restless. One settler steps forward, eyes wild. "Then you send for the devil like the stranger said. Save us or we will burn this house ourselves." The threat hangs in the air like smoke. Jamie feels his blood boil, but he knows force will only make things worse. Claire speaks next, her voice steady and kind, despite the danger. "I am trying to find the cause. Give me one more day." Her words calm a few, but the fear is too deep now. The crowd slowly moves back, muttering threats under their breath. Back inside, the family makes the hardest decision of their lives. They cannot ignore the warning any longer. The British are coming, the sickness is spreading, and the enemy from the past clearly holds power they do not yet understand. Jamie looks at each face around the table, his wife, his daughter, his son-in-law, and his grandson. He speaks quietly but firmly. "We will send for the devil, but we will do it on our terms. We will set the meeting place and the rules. No one touches my family until we know exactly what we are dealing with." Claire nods, even though her healer's heart screams against it. She knows medicine cannot fight everything. Sometimes you must face the darkness to save the light. Brianna agrees, but her eyes show deep worry for her son. Roger grips his Bible tighter and says he will stand with them no matter what comes. They write a short message on a piece of paper using the silver coin as a seal.